Tap 3 mana, ice cream with banana. Now our problem solved. Okay, testing.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
It's time for another story time, kids. So sit down. It's time to talk about old Pappy Wall of Ice Cream and his adventures. This story is from Gen Con 2002. When I had several trading binders, I gave them to my dad, and I had some time between tournaments playing extended. That was a thing back then. That was back when the extended tournaments allowed you to play cards between the last 6 to 8 years. So I was playing with some pretty old cards, mostly Urza's Saga, Brigadier Masks cards. Playing Papa's V Mauschwitz, Trinity Green deck, modified and tuned a little bit better for extended. I should make a video of that sometime. But anyway, I was watching Prismatic. Prismatic's a fascinating format. Basically, it's a deck with 250 cards. So this is one card. So imagine a deck that's 250 of these high. It's almost impossible to shuffle. Yeah, you're still allowed 4 of any one card. Since your deck is so big, there's really no way of controlling what direction your deck's going in or controlling your combos effectively. It needs 20 cards of each color. If you have a multicolored card, you get to choose, okay, this white-blue card counts as a white card, or this white-blue card counts as a blue card. It doesn't count as both. So you can't just put 20 Sliver Queens in your deck and then put the rest as artifacts. It doesn't work that way. It has a bad deck rule, which has, if your hand has 0, 1, or 6, or 7 lands, you can mulligan and draw a new one. It's the one before the current one, the Canadian mulligan system. It's before the Paris mulligan system. It's Richard Garfield's mulligan system allows for 0 to 7 lands mulligans. Prismatic allows for 1 through 6 because for Prismatic, if you have 100 lands in your deck, it is theoretically possible to have a way of shuffling the deck so that all 100 lands are in a row. It's extremely improbable, but it's possible. So it's a much friendlier mulligan rule. So I can, from personal experience, I can say this for a fact. This is correct. What's really interesting is it's in paper and it was in Magic Online, but less than 1% of games were Prismatic, so it shut down a couple of years ago. I lost about 40 ticks when they banned Prismatic because I had fun playing a format like 250 1010. It's a format where you start with 10 cards in your hand and your deck must be contain 250 or more cards. So if you like 250-10, your Prismatic deck is coincidentally probably also a 250-10 deck, with the added bonus of the banned list. And you should notice what's not there. Contract from Below is not on the banned list. Contract from Below is banned in Vintage. It's banned in Legacy. It's Type 1, Type 1.5, Type 2 Standard. It's banned in Extended. It's banned every single format. Jesus, it's like banned in Draft. Like, seriously, if you get this card, you call the judge, and the judge will just give you a new pack, and you can pick a new rare card. This Contract from Below is a rare. I had like 6 contracts from below, 7 contracts from below, because I basically just opened up enough packs of Revised to have a play set of dual lands. And you think, oh, that's really cool. Well, you know, when you open up a pack of Revised, you could get something like a Shivan Dragon or a Sarah Angel. Like, ooh, I got an Angel, or I got a Shivan Dragon. But, you know, it's nice for, like, a little kid to understand, like, dragons are cool and angels are cool, right? Right? But there's also cards that are worth over $100 in Revised right now. And back then, it was only $3 a pack. Oh, yeah, Amy's wide-eyed now. So if you bought a pack for $2.95, which was MSRP, before it got raised to $2.99, before it got raised to $3.29, and so on, for $2.95, you could buy a pack of cards, you rip it open, you could have a $100 card in it. Those were the good times. So Contract from Below isn't a $100 card. It's actually one of the terrible cards. It was sat in my trading binder for 10 years, basically. 9 years? Oh. And, geez. One of the longest staying cards in my binder. And I just go to the tournament. I watch these 2 Prismatic players playing. Great game, by the way. They play Daryl Or and Prismatic. Isn't that the ugliest card you've ever seen? Look at that monster. He's got like some troll belly, like his belly's about to burst. He's got like a live like octopus coming out of his mouth. What a horror. Creature Thrall. Your black spells cost black more to play, and it's a black card. So if you're playing a black card and it makes other black spells worse, yeah, I'd barf too, Amy. Why would you play this card? Well, if you're playing a 5-color deck, and 20 of each card of each color has to be in this deck, that means your hand's full of not just black cards, but green cards and blue cards and red cards and white cards. So Daryl Or actually isn't that bad of a card. So I got to see Daryl Or played. You do get to play artifacts. The artifacts they play are basically like a lot of fixing kind of cards. To tap, add 1 mana, then a color for your mana pool sort of cards. You'd think you'd have to spend your time saying, okay, well, if you have cards of each color, you'd have to throw in as many artifact creatures as you can. You'd think so. But you actually can't because you have so many cards of every single color, you just don't have the space for artifact creatures in your deck. So you just have to get creative. So Daryl Or was actually a great card back in 2001, 2002. And then that was the day, I remember this is, by the way, Prismatic is DCI sanctioned, which means at Gen Con, there are real judges, level 1 judges, level 2 judges presiding over this format. This is not one of those penny dreadful, hey, let's make up some rules and make up a robot to be our judge. No, these are real DCI judges on this tournament. So this isn't actually for funsies. This is for real prizes. And it's for ante? It's for ante. Do you know what ante means, Amy?
Yeah.
Ante means... I say the ante room a lot. Ante means before. So before you start the game, you take a card in your deck, say the bottom card, you place it face down, your opponent puts it down face down. You say something like, look, who goes first? And again, Magic the Gathering, it's always a coin flip, or you roll a die so you get odds or evens, or you get your coin flip correctly. But in Magic the Gathering back in 1994, you could do another game. It's closest to A. So you take the bottom card of your deck, you would flip it face up, and one player could get a Berserk, and one player could get a Black Lotus. And that was your ante. That would mean if you won the game, the player who anteed the Berserk would get his Berserk back and the opponent's Black Lotus. And the opponent who anteed the Black Lotus would just get a Berserk back. Berserk was a $38 to $53 card. Black Lotus was a $600 card. And this was something I actually got to see back in around 1999. So much the closest to A, Berserk, Black Lotus. That's the ante. Go. This game is like for your life. This isn't funny. This is a serious game. You'd expect you to play a game like on Magic Online, like each player would just bet 2 tickets, right? And then if you put your 2 tickets together, you get 4 tickets, and that buys 1 pack of cards. Where Black Lotus is $600 back then, you could buy 150 packs of cards at $4 each with 1 Black Lotus. So your single game could be riding on that if you put it in your deck. That's what made actually Black Lotus and the Moxes bad, because if you just made your deck thousands of dollars, and just so you'd have like a 90% chance or 98% chance to win against someone, there'd always be that 2% chance. Once again, I said you could draw 100 lands in a row in Prismatic. You could draw like 100. You could just draw not 100 lands, but you could just draw land after land after land, and you could lose the game, and you could lose the Black Lotus in your deck. So ante kind of made the game exciting. It got banned and vintage every single format, and then Prismatic just brings ante back. Isn't this crazy? There is no contract. So after I watched the game, here's Congregation at Dawn, Channel, Crucible, World's Cunning Wish. That's all the C's. There's no contract from Blow's banned. Incredible. So after the game, let's trade these two Prismatic players, like 16, 17-year-olds. So he opens my trade binder. He grabs all my contracts. He asks me if I have any more contracts. I have like 7 contracts. I'm like, no, I have more. Like, I maybe have 1 more at home or 2 more at home, but like who would want contracts? Who would play for ante? They're banned in like all formats. But no, there's this new format called Prismatic. You can play for ante. It's just fascinating. This was like I think around 5th Dawn. Eternal Witness comes out. It gets immediately banned just by being too good. It's not really apparent why it's so good. It's green, green, white. Green, green, 1. When it comes into the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's just like a regrowth. But in Prismatic, you can just make it completely bare. Where's careful consideration? It's not on here. That's fascinating. Oh no, this is not the card I was thinking of. Oh gosh, there's a card that allows you to take 3 cards with flashback from your deck and put them in your graveyard. And you could get cards like Roar the Worm or Call the Herd. Roar the Worm. You could put a 6/6 green worm creature token into play. Flashback green 3. You can pay 4 mana. You get a 6/6 creature. And all you have to do is you pay blue 1. You put 3 of these in your graveyard, and then you have 6/6s for the game. It was so busted. It was banned. Basically the intro to when Prismatic first came out, they're like, "Hey guys, you should just throw flashback cards in your deck." It was crazy. And Wild Research gets banned too. It's not in the current banned list according to this wiki. So apparently the original meta just got meted out. I can't really understand why Wild Research was banned in Prismatic. It's white 1, search your library for an enchantment card and reveal that card. Put it in your hand, discard a card at random, then shuffle your library. So you're paying red 2 for this. You're paying white 1, discarding a card, and it could just be the card you searched for. So you're paying 5 mana, and you have an enchantment that does nothing, and you just lose a card. It wasn't really apparent to me why this card was so busted in Prismatic. If you know, leave a comment. But yeah, so very difficult to understand. Eternal Witness being overpowered and Wild Research being overpowered. 250 card decks. The best part is you could never completely tune your deck. You don't know if 3 of is right, or maybe 2 of, or maybe 1 of, or maybe 4 of. You really don't know. Maybe the card just doesn't belong in your deck at all. It doesn't matter because the game only lasts, like 10 turns, 20 turns, and then it's over. And how much of your deck you've seen. If this is like a 60 card deck, and you see 53 turns, you see your entire deck. If you play 53 turns in Prismatic, you don't even see half your deck. So how do you know if the card belongs there or not? And because there's new expansions always coming out, your deck is in the eternal state of being badly tuned. Which means there's always room for growth, there's always room for improvement. Which once again just makes it a brewer's paradise. That's Prismatic. I wish there were more people playing this game. Seems like a heck of a lot of fun on paper. Not possible to ante in Magic the Gathering Online or Magic the Gathering Arena. Those cards are too old and busted. Contract from Below. Draw 8 cards. How crazy is that? So that's the story of Prismatic Magic. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you want a notification, click the bell icon below. If you really like it, share with your friends. And if you really like it, give Dan Horning money on Patreon. And give me money. I love money. Do all the things. Cast mind right on yourself.